Russia says the West has essentially stolen its foreign currency and gold reserves as the EU's asset transfer to Ukraine.
Here's a summary of the article.
Access your favorite topics in a personalized feed while you're on the go. Russia accused the West of stealing from Moscow's currency and gold reserves on Monday thanks to sanctions that froze Russian assets. In a statement to reporters discussing the prospect of the European Union's proposal to transfer the frozen Russian assets to Ukraine, spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said, "A part large of our assets have been essentially stolen by specific Western countries. The Western sanctions have blocked Russian access to roughly $640 billion worth cash and gold reserves in response to the Kremlin's February 24 invasion of Ukraine." Other U.S. allies followed suit earlier this year, freezing $30 billion worth of assets held by Russian oligarchs in concert with $300 billion in Russian central bank funds. The European Union is also considering transferring the Russian cash and gold to Ukraine, drawing criticism from the Kremlin. Two crossed lines that form an X. It indicates a way to close an interaction, or dismiss a notification.
This post received a score of 19,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It's just a special monetary operation.
A referendum was held and NATO voted overwhelmingly 107% to 0% for that money to be given to Ukraine.
The money was allowed to hold a referendum. And the money overwhelmingly stated that it was always Ukrainian.
Civil forfeiture logic, really.
This reminded me of a year or two ago when Russia took possession of Venezuela's gold, up to 4 plane loads, for safekeeping. Good luck getting it back.
Russia is also straight up stealing Sudan's gold right now. They even set up their own ore processing refinery courtesy the Wagner Group.
I mean, they're pillaging Kherson as we speak.
They took it for safekeeping because of the war and never returned it. They still do that. They still fund Russophile political parties in Romania. Search for our political party.
The Soviets also stole most of the gold reserves of the Spanish Republic during the Spanish Civil War.
After WW2, Russia basically stole everything they could from the Eastern Bloc and still ended up a failure.
Russia is a country with a long history of corruption, incompetence and misery. Even Russia's greatest cultural works are mostly stories about how much Russia sucks.
So you speak Dostoevsky?
Dostoevsky is more about how people suck.
Russians, specifically.
Greater than Western sanctions have frozen $640 billion worth of Russian assets. The European Council is considering transferring those assets to Ukraine, give them half today for the damage that's already done. Then $5 billion per day that the war continues on. That'll give Putin maximum incentive to stop.
As a Ukrainian, I support this idea, but with one serious stipulation: strict oversight of those funds, because corruption didn't magically disappear with the start of the war.
Absolutely. +1 from another Ukrainian.
That money should be used to rebuild, and if it's not enough, the West should organize another Marshall Plan. Let Russia scramble to restart their economy while the civilized world helps Ukraine come out of this stronger than before the war.
The Marshall Plan was a masterstroke in foreign policy. The US is still receiving political dividends out of it decades later.
And everyone won. Without the Marshall Plan, Western Europe's rebuild would have had much less American influence and the Americans had market for their goods. It was a win for Americans too.
We could go full Russia on them. What currency? What gold? We have no idea what you're talking about. We need to let us investigate this so we can be sure it wasn't us.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.